Hello, this is Scott Carpenter, and welcome to another edition of Sasquatch Awareness Project. In tonight's episode, I want to talk about something that's very important, and it's one of the main themes of the book and my mission, and that is, if you've had an encounter with a Sasquatch or any other cryptid, you're not the only one. You're not alone. You don't have to go through this experience alone. You don't have to deal with the aftermath and the PTSD alone. You know, when I got started in all this, and it kind of got, what got the ball rolling as far as the Sasquatch Awareness Project was Steve Ishdahl and me had become friends, and we'd started talking back and forth trying to figure out how to get the message out. And Steve had gone through a few things, about what he thought we should do, but one of the main things he did is he pushed me. He pushed me to, because he'd asked, well, why haven't you done anything before now? And I kind of explained to him the total and complete burnout that I'd experienced with the with the Sasquatch DNA project and all the attacks, and and we had kind of come to the end of our research, proving what we'd set out to prove, scientifically prove that Sasquatch exist, and knowing the facts of what they were. In my opinion, they're a human hybrid, which the DNA study shows, and from a spiritual standpoint, they're a Nephilim. So they're a spiritual being, or part spiritual being, and they're you're not going to study them long term. You're not going to do any long-term interaction with them. It's just not going to happen. It's a very small percentage of people actually do, and it's not in the capacity of research or that type of situation. It's, if there is some sort of interaction, it's always on their terms, and then there's always unintended consequences. Hitchhiker stuff, other paranormal stuff. It's just it's never simple. It's never easy. It's never just it's not like you've got a friend that lives up in a cabin in the woods and you go visit them every now and again. That's not how it works. So anyway, so I wanted to just kind of lost my train of thought. That thought train went off the rail, but basically get back to the subject. When I was explaining to Steve, that's what happened, and that's where we were, and he just kind of kicked me in the butt and said, no, you've got to get out there. You've got to, we've got to inform people. You've got to, you're getting these emails, and you're getting inquiries, and people need to know, and people need to be able to reach out and have a safe place. And so he pushed it, and even though COVID came along, we kind of all did our own thing because of COVID. You had Steve now doing what he's doing, I'm doing the Sasquatch Awareness Project. You got friend Dave Pilates. He's doing his 411 thing and his videos. And there's some others, so we're all kind of working together in our own little, I've said it many times before, in our own niche, in our own personality, in our own way. We're all, doing our best to inform and to create a community of people, where they can feel safe and secure, and share their experiences. And that's just so important. And you just got to understand you're not alone. I mean, there's people all over the spectrum that have had Sasquatch encounters. I mean, everywhere from orthopedic surgeons down to, and there's, I'm not doing a class thing, but I'm just saying, from the highly educated, doctors to those who are just, everyday people like me, and housewives, school teachers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, all kinds of, it's non-discriminating. No matter what your station in life is, what your education, whether you live in Northern California or Southern Florida, this can happen to you. You can have a Sasquatch encounter, and you don't have to be involved in it. You don't have to, seek them out. It can happen, on a hike. You take a vacation to a national park somewhere, you go on a hike, and boom, you have the encounter. And so you've got to understand that that's, sometimes going to happen. And I wanted to make sure that everyone that had that sort of experience had somewhere to turn, somewhere to go, and someone to talk to, some place to share your experiences, and to realize you're not the only one. That I think there's thousands. Well, let me back that up. There's tens of thousands of people that have had sightings. I mean, based on Steve Ishtall's channel and the number of emails he's gotten emails. I think he's getting close to 20,000 emails in the last 3 years. His channel went from 40,000 to 120,000 in less than a year. My channel's doubled. I'm sure Dave's channel, I haven't checked it, but I think his is way up. So this phenomenon we call the Sasquatch encounter, or Bigfoot, or whatever you want to call this thing that it is, I think it's on the rise. I think more and more people are seeing and having encounters, and more people are now brave enough to come forward, because no one's going to make fun of them. Back in the day, I can remember, if you mentioned Bigfoot, that you'd have an encounter, you were the butt of the jokes. People made fun of you, they laughed at you. They might act like they're serious for 10 or 15 minutes and then just shake their head and like, there's just no way, you're crazy, you didn't see that, I don't know what you saw, but that's not, and it's very infuriating. And for someone to tell you, well, you really didn't see that, or it was a bear, or you were imagining things, or you just misidentified something, and when good and well that is not what happened. You saw what you saw. Nothing's going to change that. And of course, I've moved past trying to prove it. And with everything that we've done, we've done everything we can do to prove it. It's not about proving anything anymore, but it's about creating an environment and a place where people can come and bring their experiences and share their experiences and feel welcome, not be afraid of the ridicule, and know they're amongst people that understand and have had similar experiences and can relate to what's going on and what's happened to them. As Steve Ishtall likes to say, it's the club of no return, and that's what it is, because you can't go back. Once you've seen one, you cannot go back. I have skeptical friends that say they want to see one, and knowing their personalities and knowing everything I know, I'm like, no, you don't. You don't want to see one. Really, you don't. You don't want to be burdened with that. You don't want to know they exist. You're better off, some people are just better off never knowing. It'd be nice if they could be accepting and open and honest with you and say, well, I just can't go that far, but I believe that you've had an experience, and they'll respect that, and that's all you can ask, is someone just respects that. But for some people, it's just, I think an experience would just be just too much. I don't know if their brains can handle that, because it's just so far out of the norm for them. It'd be so far, it'd be paradigm changing, life altering, because these things don't exist. That the world they live in is nice, and has boundaries, and that's all there is in this little world, and there's nothing else. And they don't have to worry. They're not going to have what I call it's called cognitive dissonance, and that's when you see you see something, and it's it's so far out of your realm of belief system and reality for you that your brain just can't handle it, and you just shut down, or you just push it to the side, or you just you literally refuse to believe your own eyes. And so that can happen. So I'm doing a little bit of rambling, but I just think it's important that anyone watching this that's had an encounter, and it doesn't have to be an encounter where you saw one. There's so many ways that people experience these things, from the vocalizations to the mock charges to the roars to the tree breaks to the glowing red eyes in the woods, and other cryptids as well. There's the dog man, and there's orbs and UFOs. It's all related, and it's all part of the same thing. I really believe that it's all interconnected, and you start going down one road, then you eventually going to run into the fork in the road where all the other cryptid and all the other craziness is at. And so whatever you're doing, you do it long enough, you're going to run into the other stuff. That's just the nature of it. But there's a safe place. Again, there's a place where you're welcomed, and that you're not going to be belittled. You're going to be listened to, taken seriously. And if you have issues, if you need information, and we're here, and more than willing to give it and do the best we can with the information we have. I know that's a short segment. I'm getting close to the end now. There's one more segment in my series, and then that will finish up every chapter in the book, and then I'm going to do some I've got some more content planned related to the Sasquatch Awareness Project, and then going to delve into some other things. I've been getting a lot of emails, as you can imagine, and so probably going to start doing more email specific episodes, and answering questions more directly. In other words, when I get 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 emails about the same subject, I've been trying to go back, and some of it kind of works into the series I've been doing, but there are some things that are just I've either already covered or not specifically, like in the Sasquatch Awareness Project. So what I want to do is I think the most effective way is to answer do one video that can answer questions for 15 or 20 or more emails. I'm also going to go back and do some I have plans to go back to the locations where I have gotten footage, and do a little bit more in-depth, more detailed. Most of the time, if you look at my channel, I used to try to I was doing research, and I was literally getting in the nuts and bolts, and this 10-minute society we have, people were squalling and screaming, get to the video, I don't care, get there, I got, basically, if you don't, if you're not showing the money shots within 30 seconds, then they're out. And that's fine. And if that's the kind, that's the kind of watcher they are, that's fine. But there, now I know there is a, there's a large majority out there that wants the detail now, that has the questions. And so I'm going to do some more detailed content in that area. And there's several different areas that to continue to educate and to keep my mission up in the Sasquatch Awareness Project. But also, to show, I think it's important to show people these videos. They don't prove anything, but they help people. I know they help people. A lot of people are like, well, the one I saw looked like that, or that was a very similar situation, or oh yeah, very similar. One of the things I've noticed on Steve's channel, on the emails that I get and talking to people, it's the same phenomenon over and over again. In other words, they regardless of what part of the country, even world, the Sasquatch are in, you have your encounter, there are commonalities on all of these. There, from the the mind speak to the cloaking to the red eye shine to the mock charges to the roars to these different, there's different things. And I've been watching, I was watching a video with Colm Kelleher and George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, and they're talking to Colm Kelleher, and he's a doctor, and he was on he was a co-author with George Knapp on The Hunt for the Skinwalker, and then they did another one concerning the Hitchhiker Effect, where these phenomenon follow people home. And it was amazing to listen to him, and he's talking about multiple databases they have where they look at people that have UFO experiences, and they actually look at physical effects, and they also look at other phenomenon that happens into them, like a lot of these people have a lot of dogman encounters, and seeing dogmen at their homes, and werewolves, whatever you want to call them. And but it's amazing to me how, and I'm not bragging, I've had all the experiences they've had, almost all of them. Not 100%, but I'd say 75 to 80% of the things that they've experienced, I've experienced. Even though I'm a researcher in East Tennessee, and they're doing the work for for the Department of Defense, and they've got a multi-million-dollar budget, but they're having similar encounters, and they're having similar frustrations, regardless of how their technology. These entities and this phenomenon always defeat their technology, and a lot of it's just they have to sometimes turn off the technology and just experience what's going on. And I have a place where I used to research. I don't go there anymore, not without a 50 cal and a troop with me. But I have a mini Skinwalker Ranch area, where in about a 2 to 3 acre plot, all kinds of weird stuff happens. UFOs, orbs, Sasquatch, Dogman, aliens, or beings that all in that one area. Have lost time in that area. Had missing time. Have had seen something cloaked. So it's all right in that one area. And so it's just there are certain locations around the world on this on the good earth where there are these things happening. And I just thought it's extremely interesting, and it kind of rolls into what we're talking about, where you're not the only one. And the interesting thing was that here's Dr. Colm Kelleher, was working with All Sight all SAP, and before then he's working with NIDS, and these are all non-governmental agencies that get government contracts and do these things. And like NIDS and these other, we're working on this ranch to scientifically study this weird phenomena. UFOs, ghosts, you know, they had Sasquatch, they had orbs, they had it all. And they still have it if you watch the show. But I just find it interesting that they having the same frustrations or the same issues that we have, that people that I talk to have, that from the physical effects to the emotional effects, they're not immune to them. And you'd think, well, these are government scientists and they have all this equipment. No, we're all just people. But regardless of your station in life, regardless of whether you're a scientist or you're an IT guy for a small software company like me, the same stuff, the same frustrations. They weren't able to, while they got stuff, so did I. But it's like they obviously didn't have any major breakthroughs, or you'd have the videos. So while they're doing these intense stuff, and I'm glad they're doing them. I mean, it's we're just, unfortunately, we're not privy to it. There's probably a lot of information that would be very helpful to us if they'd ever release it, but it's all classified, and it's all shunt up to the Department of Defense or the DNI or NSC, blah blah blah, NSA, blah blah, all the alphabet agencies that fund these things get this information and get these databases. And then I think Defense Intelligence Agency he talked about had 11 different data. They had like a databases where they're tracking different things like physical effects, and then the nuts and bolts, and then Hitchhiker Effect, other phenomenon that related to it. So I think there were 11 total. He said in this there's a set of these databases, 11 of them that track different things, and it'd be I'd love to get my hands on it. But anyway, I just think that's important, to know that everyone that deals with this struggles. Everyone that deals with this, has issues. It's just not you. It's just not me. And that together, we're going to work towards these answers, and hopefully one day get a little closer and get more information. And the more information we have, then the more informed we'll be, and the more we'll know the truth about what's going on, and the larger implications in the world, because this is all tied together. All the craziness that's going on in the world, you say, oh, how does Sasquatch have anything to do with the other? But it is. It all ties back in together. Why the secrecy, and then if you pull the thread, then everything starts to unravel, whether it's Sasquatch or UFOs, because they all are intertwined. So you start pulling the Sasquatch thread, and then you're going to find out, well, why are these agencies not wanting anybody to know about the Sasquatch? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And that pulls you over into the other subjects. So nothing, as I like to say, nothing is out here in a vacuum. It's just not. It's just not. Nothing happens in a vacuum. There's stuff going on, and there's reasons why. So I think I'll end it now. I've blabbed on for over 20 minutes. But the most important thing is just remember, you're not the only one. And the links are there. Email me. You can get a hold of Steve Ishdahl and write him an email, and he's vowed to read every one he gets. And so, and also David Pilates, you can email him if you have, things you want to talk to him about. And of course, there's my book, and we all have books and things to help you. And so and that's what we want to do. That's what I'm endeavoring to do, is just inform and to help people the best I can. And with that said, I hope everybody has a good week. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.